Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for money, and perished in the rebellion of Korah. Jude 1:1. Avinu Makeno Shabbat Shamayim Bereket Zed Lamar. Our Father, our King, who art in heaven, bless this teaching. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to Well Watered Ministry. And you know what, guys? It is so good to be back here. And what I mean by that is back here with my Rev Shabbat family.
Yes.
You see, last week, me, Vicky, and Daniel, we were in Columbus, Ohio, and the previous 2 weeks, Heather was in Alabama, and we've just been everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We missed a couple of weeks. It's so great to be back with our Rev Shabbat family. But we were in Columbus, Ohio, for a big Plexus convention, getting our gut health on. You know what I'm saying? Because without gut health, life is miserable. Trust me, I've been there. But today, you know what I need? I need some spiritual health going on. And what better way than an Erev Shabbat service with a lot of Torah?
Amen.
And I think that's what we need, is a lot of Torah. And see something crazy. On the way back, Monday, Daniel was driving. Or, as his dad and Vicky would say, it was prayer time. Now, Daniel, don't take that personal, because it really didn't bother me. But we made it back. You know, we made it back.
Amen.
Were you doing 90?
No,
it's not that bad.
Okay. It's just his dad. His dad always said he'd come to church and say, "Pray for me." I rode with Daniel today. I'm scared to death, and I got to ride home with him. But we made it back alive. That's really what matters, right? I mean, I took a couple of Xanax, drank some beer, but I'm good now. You know? But how many here has ever drove on the interstate, especially I-77? You get it, right? It's crazy. I mean, just traffic everywhere, people cutting you off. I mean, it's crazy. And Daniel was driving. He took a big breath. He said, "Jesus, take the wheel." Now, how many have ever said that? Jesus, take the wheel. You know what? I never looked up. You can ask Daniel. I never looked up, and I just simply said, I feel that is the problem with most Christians. Jesus, take the wheel. What needs to happen is this. We need to take his GPS. You know, God's positioning system. You see, our Messiah took the wheel on Golgotha. And now it's time that we took his GPS, his positioning system. He has the wheel, right? We have the map, the Torah, and what is the key to the map? His laws. For if you really understand the Bible, you would understand this. They are not laws, but instructions, right? Instructions on how he wants us to what? Behave and act. I mean, Daniel, do you have instructions at work?
Yes.
Yes. Heather, are there instructions on the road when you're driving?
Yes.
Yes. Vicky, are there instructions in a marriage? Yes, Jeff, there are. You see, everywhere we go, there's instructions, and we follow them, right? Everybody follows them. And yet, the most important instructions in our life, most ignore. The Torah. And all I can say is, come on, where's your GPS? And that is what this Torah portion is all about. Where is your GPS? Where is your God's positioning system? Just where does your God want you to be? And which GPS will you follow? Will you follow his GPS or will you follow yours? This Torah portion is called Korah. It's from number 16:1 to 18:32. And it covers the rebellion of Korah, Dathan, Abiram, and On. They rebelled against Moses and Aaron. We're talking about 250 respected leaders. This just was not just some average church goers. These were the leaders gathered, calling out Moses and Aaron, saying that they acted holier than thou, that they acted better than them. Why? Because Moses and Aaron kept Torah. You see, Korah felt, well, like we are holy enough. I mean, who needs all these do's and don'ts, right? Who needs these shalls and shall nots? We are holy enough. I mean, we go to church, right? Now, Karen, I wasn't there, but I'm here now. And I know today that that sounds good, does it not? That sounds good. You mean all I got to do is go to church and be holy? I don't have to do the do's and the don'ts, the shalls and the shall nots? I mean, really, who wants to be told what to do? Karen, that's why I got married. You see, I'm sure it sounded good to Israel, especially in Bamidbar. Now, some of y'all haven't been to some of the teachings because we've been scattered abroad. I don't know if you've watched them or not, but I'm not real big on calling this book Numbers. I want to call it what it's called in my Bible, my complete Jewish Bible, what the Hebrews call it, Bamidbar. in the wilderness. And here's why. Some of you have heard it, maybe some of you have not. But what happened in this Bamidbar in the wilderness, Heather, that's where we're at. We're in Bamidbar, right? We're in the wilderness. You know, somewhere from between being brought out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, and on our way to the promised land. We're not quite there yet, Daniel. We're in the wilderness still. But what I like about it is in chapter 1 of Bamidbar of Numbers, Yodevave tells Moses in your English Bible, King James, or just about any other translation, to take a census. But when you read it in Hebrew, it's actually saying to lift your head. And now, that's a big difference. Because instead of Yodevave saying count, he said, I want you to lift your head because you're about to be approached by the king. You see, I want to see you. I want to remember you. And I want to make sure I can count on you in my camp when the time comes. So that's why I want to use Bamidbar. Because I feel like we're all still in the wilderness. Because we're not quite home. And I feel like we should all lift our heads. I'm not here to be counted. I think it means more, Daniel, when you realize that God was not counting his people. He was looking on who he could count on. And I think everybody here wants to be counted on when he comes a call. And we saw in last week's parashah, Shalach Lecha, send on your behalf, we saw the 12 spies. Moses sent the 12 spies to go, what? Scout out the promised land. Well, they come back. All 12 of them. All 12 saw the same thing. 10 of them said, you know what? Man, look at these grapes we have. They're big. They are huge. Everything Yodevave said was there, we saw. The milk and the honey, the grapes, the increase, just everything. But, Christian's favorite word, but there were giants. And there's trials and there's tribulations and we got to work. You know, we got to do things there. We just need to stay here, right where we're at. Or better yet, let us get us a captain and lead us back to Mitzrayim. Let's go back to Egypt. Because in Egypt, we had melons, we had leeks, we had garlic, which I still don't understand why they eat garlic. But we had everything our hearts desired. Our bellies were full, but our hearts were empty. But then you had the other two spies, Joshua and Caleb, saw the same thing. And they come back talking about, man, what did y'all see? What I saw was victory. I saw that our God has already gone there before us and won the victory. Let's go. So we see more of that this week in this Torah portion. And I guess the only word that I can describe this is disobedience. Disobedience in Bamidbar. That's what caused all this. Lack of obeying the Torah in the wilderness. Because Jesus had their will, right? They were out of Mitzrayim, and they were on their way to the promised land, as we all are. But, come on, where was their GPS? Where was their God's positioning system? Where does their God want them to be, and what does their God want them to do? See, last week, Israel saw, in last week's Torah portion, they saw the 10 spies do what? Die. And everyone but Joshua and Caleb, even Moses was told by their God, you will not see the promised land. Can I tell you that Yodevave loved those people? He loved those people so much he shed innocent blood for them. He loved them so much he led them through the Red Sea. He baptized them. He loved them so much he fed them bread, manna, and water from a rock. Heather, a rock that followed them through the wilderness. Did you get that? Did you see what I'm saying? The rock followed the God of Moses through the wilderness. And who was the rock? Yahshua HaMashiach. He followed God of the Bible. Should we not follow that same rock and do what that rock did? Should we not follow the Torah? And that rock followed Israel through the wilderness, what, right? And what did that rock do? Watered Israel. Is that not what we should be doing with well-water ministry? Should we not be watering the world because we should be a rock that's following the rock by doing the Torah? That is our job, to water the flock. Come on. Where's your GPS? And even after seeing all that, in verse 1 of this parashah, this Torah portion, we see this. Korah, along with Dathan and Abiram and On, rebelled against Moses and Aaron. But they really rebelled against Yodevave, right?
Right.
A lot of times we feel like they're attacking us or our beliefs or what we say, but they're really not. They're really attacking our God. We're just a vessel. Wow. Talk about Jesus taking the wheel, right? But go my way. Because that's what they were saying. Jesus, take the wheel, but go my way, not yours. Now, both Moses and Korah here desired for Israel to be a holy people. They both really wanted Israel to be holy. But with Moses, it was his goal. And in order to reach that, generation after generation had to choose which GPS to follow. Will they follow their GPS or will they follow Yodhe-Vaveh's GPS? Sure, they gave Jesus the will, but they altered the map. And as a matter of fact, they simply threw the key away. They threw the law away. And Korah, well, he felt like Israel was holy enough just by being Yodhe-Vaveh's people. So why the need for any further laws? And I think that's where we're at in churches now. They feel like we're the church, we're God's people. We don't need the laws now. We're holy. Because Jesus had my will. But hey, dude, here's my map. You drive, just drive me where I want to go. And I think that's 99% of the people I know thinking. If Jesus has my will, but I don't want him to follow the map, definitely don't use the key. Drive me where I want to go. Come on, man, where's your GPS? You see, I'm not sure just how much y'all travel, but me and Vicky, we have driven numerous times across America. We've driven 4 or 5 times to Oregon, 2 or 3 times to Colorado, Idaho Falls. We've done a lot of driving. It's nothing for us to jump in the car and drive 50 straight hours. And I can tell y'all this, my GPS has gotten us lost more times than I can count. Usually when Vicky's driving, because I've never been lost. Just off course. Big difference.
Yes.
But Yodhe-Vaveh's GPS has never gotten me lost or even gotten me off course unless I cut it off and I use my GPS. God's positioning system has never failed me, nor you. And it certainly did not fail Israel. Israel, as we do, we have failed God. We have failed our God by taking over our GPS over his. And once again, Yodhe-Vaveh's people feel as if they know better than our Creator. And I think all of us have been in those shoes. I'm glad I took mine off. We have to use his GPS. Why must we continually cut off Yodhe-Vaveh's GPS for the world? You see, Yodhe-Vaveh's GPS always follows his map, the Torah, using his key, his law, his instructions on how he wants us to follow him. And when we do, our Red Seas are parted. Our enemies destroyed. We are fed and watered by our God. We are protected by a cloud by day and fire by night. But when we go, Siri, use my GPS, but Midbar gets worse. People just drop dead. Plagues, fires. The very ground even opened up and consumed all of Dathan and Abiram's cohorts. Opened up, destroyed them all. And the ones that didn't, what happened? Fire. And then a plague. Do the verse, avoid the curse. It's that simple. Come on. Use his GPS, Daniel. As we are in the Midbar, heading to the promised land, stay out of Babylon and do not look back at Mitzrayim. Send this message on your behalf, that your God is victorious, and he goes before you to conquer your foes. Come on. Use his GPS. Follow him. Do not listen to those 10 spies. Hear Joshua and Caleb. Tune out the Korahs and the Dathans and the Abirams. And hear Moses. And if by chance you find your GPS taking over, turning back to Mitzrayim, or maybe even walking towards Babylon, maybe you're in line with bad spies. They're your friends. Or are you feeling, well, I'm holy enough. I'm saved. I'll go to church. Jesus has my will. Man, come on. And be like On. Remember On? He was in the first verse of this portion. He was in cahoots with Dathan and Abiram. But we hear no more of him, right? Why? Jewish tradition says because when he went home and he was telling his wife that, hey, me and my boys, we're about to overthrow Moses and Aaron. They think they're holy. We're going to show them we're holier than them. We're going against God. He had a Proverbs 31 wife who said, no, boy, you're not. You are not. And she talked him out of going to rebel against God. We need more On's wife. And I have one in my life. When Jeff gets crazy and wants to do something he's not supposed to, she says, Jeff, come on. Follow his GPS. What we need is more people with purpose. We need more people with purpose who want to grow and be more of an impact. And we should and we must surround ourselves with other, like On's wife and like the people we have here, to help us, growing together with the same purpose, so we can make an impact. Become, well, exactly what the church was originally supposed to be, a community. Not just a gathering place, not just a religious place you go on Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday, but a community that gathers with a purpose of growth, of making an impact. You see, a community becomes a movement, especially when they follow Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's GPS. When they're in line with his godly positioning system, what you see happen is you see relationships. Well, the thing about relationships, they all matter. Every relationship you're in matters. Whether it's family, friends, co-workers, spouse, or whatever it is, every person you have a relationship really matters. Because my mom used to tell me all this all the time. She'd say, Jeff, well, that's my name, Daniel. She'd say, Jeff, you are or you soon will be who you hang around with. And that is oh so true. Except for me, because I was very hard-headed, so I wouldn't do the drugs and the stuff those other people did. But still, I was associated with them, so everybody thought I did. You are or you soon will be who you hang around with. I want to hang around with people that want to have a purpose and that want to grow and want to make an impact on this community according to Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's GPS. How about y'all? Or do y'all just, I think you do, or you wouldn't be here. You see, relationships, they build purpose and they build growth, making an impact not only in your life, but all that you have a relationship with. And that's what we're supposed to be, because believe it or not, but you're the only Bible, you're the only Torah, you're the only Christ-like thing a lot of people see, especially if you're in the workforce. Some of y'all are retired, but those in the workforce, oh my goodness. Yeah, I know where I work out, there's 100 people, and 99 of them probably ain't never heard of Jesus by the way they act. So we have to walk according to Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's GPS, because he put us there for a reason. And that's something I have to deal with, is why am I here? Why am I here in this workplace? Because that's God's positioning system for me to be a light, for me to show them how I've grown because of y'all. You see, it doesn't happen by accident. It's by intention. And that's why we need Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's GPS. You see, you might not feel ready. You might not even be ready. Guys, all we have to be is willing. For what's the one thing that Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh does not own? Our hearts. You know what? There's your purpose. There's your growth. There's your impact. Send your God this message on your behalf. Yahshua has my will. I have Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's GPS linked into your Torah, and I use your key, your commandments, for they are my instructions. Come on, with me, for I am linked into Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh's GPS. I'm linked into God's positioning system, and I am right where he wants me to be, in Bamidbar, in the wilderness, in his mighty hand. And he has his outstretched arms leading me as a cloud by night and fire by day. I will not follow my GPS anymore. I will follow his. For his GPS leads to the promised land and blessings abundantly when we do the verse and avoid the curse. Come on, where is your GPS? You see, I have mine. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.